Hello, my name is Ethan and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Harvest League 3.11. In this episode, I'm going to be going over two main things. How you guys doing? Good morning. Welcome back to another episode. So this one's going to be a Summon Raging Spirit League starter. This is competing with versus Vaal Summon Skeletons, and the reason for this is because my last old league starter, the one I recommended, was Vaal Summon Skeletons, so it's good if I'm going to be making another league starter to compare it to my old league starter, so we have something to compete with. And if I make something that's better than the old one, and the old one was pretty good, then the new one is really good, and we break the game once again. So I want to start this off with Summon Raging Spirit vs. Vaal Summon Skeletons, and the Summon Raging Spirit 3.11 League Starter. Quick POB tutorial for the people who don't know how to use the POB to actually make use of my League Starter guide, because this is going to be for people completely new and who want a tutorial to follow, a build to follow and they can use Path of Building, so enjoy. Alright, and now the tutorial for the Path of Building. So you would, this is your fresh Path of Building. You would click Import, you get it to here, Import from Pastebin, paste the link after clicking on it and copying it and pasting it in here, import it. This is the entire skill tree, so I think some of the biggest things to mention right away are, this is when you're fully maxed out, like these are all the points, so you can change the amount of points you want. Like for example, you can change it to 12. Down here, and then with 12 points showing, it shows you the starter points and how to path and where to go, and it leads it all the way up to here without any regret orbs or anything. We will build this probably into something of a mid-game character, or maybe even just transition this into the golem build off of a really cool league start, because I think with some items, with some investment, we can make this like a well, this is actually really solid, to be honest. This is pretty cool. I like this build a lot. But yeah, these are the 12 points, and then the other things, these are the skills. It has every single skill leveling, tells you every single level to get them, and the end game skill links. Gives you 2 6 links. This was the skill tree and how to use it. The DPS calculations are here, your life is here, your resistances are here, you want them at 75, here's your chaos res, you want this at 20, 40, or 75%. I put some notes here for what to look for on your gear. I put some temporary gear to include some life and move speed, yeah. Prioritize move speed, and these are the flasks you want, which I'll go over more later in the build. But now we'll get into the Summon Raging Spirit versus Vaal Summon Skeletons. I just wanted to make sure that people know how to use Path of Building. Thank you. Oh my god, we're back with the presentation. So here we have Summon Raging Spirit. I want to start off by letting people know what this is, what it does. So Summon Raging Spirit is this skull thing, and it attacks with a default attack and does some fire damage, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So it's spell minion duration fire. So I wrote here, when you cast SRS, it will spawn on top of you and fly to the location of your mouse when you spawned SRS. It will then attack and get aggro on anything it finds in its path to the targeted location. Very cool AI. So I want to just, before I talk about this, I just want to skip over to the next one. Vaal Summon Skeleton. So I put specifically here normal summon skeleton, but I showed the icon for the Vaal gem and the normal gem, and here's the icon for both. Vaal Summon Skeleton, when casted, will spawn on top of your mouse location and attack anything around the general area it was spawned. A very different playstyle from SRS. So the point here is SRS comes from on you and goes out and attacks anything it's on its path. The Summon Skeleton is on your mouse, so it didn't actually start on you, so it didn't have to travel. This one flies to the location of your mouse. This one is automatically spawned on top of your mouse, so you can spawn it on bosses from range, where this one, you could spawn it from a distance at a boss, and it flies towards the boss and kills shit. So they're very different and very cool. I just wanted to make sure that was very clear about the different mechanics of the minions, the different play style. It's very important. Another thing is, I would say that Feeding Frenzy is basically useless on the Summon Raging Spirit, and then Feeding Frenzy on the Summon Skeleton gives it a dash, so they're very, very, very different. These don't have a thing about getting aggressive. Yeah. So then, like, this is more of a skill, and this is a minion kind of, but still more of a skill. This is more of a minion of like because of the Vaal summon skeletons especially. But anyways, so how do we actually compare SRS to Vaal skellies, dude? How do you verse them? SRS summon raging spirit is only level 4. Skeletons are 10. Skeletons have a Vaal version. They aren't the same minion. One is a skull and the other one's a skeleton. One's just the head. They have different build options. You don't build them the same. How do you do this? It's so difficult, man. I really... So, well, we did it. Whoa, chill. So, what I put together here to explain it, don't worry about this yet. So, what I put together here is assuming what you would have as your skeletons for level 10 to 18. And in the build, this was, you get skeletons at level 10, and at level 10, you're going to run a 3-link, and the 3-link would be melee splash and minion damage. With this 3-link, you have 0.3 DPS. You cast 2 skeletons per cast. Like each time you cast summon skeletons, it's 2 skeletons, not 1. So double the amount of the summon raging spirits, which is why I've always liked summon skeletons more. And then 2.1 cast per second. So it's a lot of skeletons a second, you know. We max out our skeleton cap pretty quickly, but if you notice, the damage is 1.26. And you say, well, you're only level 10, dude. This is assuming level 10, so we're so early on in the game. Most people don't even know what this means. But when you play with it, you can feel it, and it feels really bad, like it's low damage. So then I looked at the Vaal skellies, and I'm like, okay, so 0.3 DPS with 18 of them. So here you could see we had 0.3 and there's 6 of them. So technically, if you cast this for 1.5 seconds, you would get your 6 skeletons, and then it's slightly more damage. But it doesn't matter. I was just assuming 1 second of thing like burst damage. So then with Vaal summon skeletons, we can get 8.3 DPS with 18. It has a different limit, and then 5.4 total DPS. And so on each of these slides of comparing, so I'm going to now show you the Summon Raging Spirit. So I wanted to start with the Vaal Summon Skellies because that's the one we started with. This is literally just what we were doing, and actually we had even lower damage because we went to the Sacrifice node and we didn't even have that level 12 pathing that we do now, which is way better. Trust me, that extra damage makes a huge difference. I don't even want to know what the build was with the Sacrifice pathing. I had no damage. So on every single slide, what I'm pointing out is I have % increased life from tree. So this is to compare the tree of how tanky they are also with the damage, okay? Just so you know that I'm not just sacrificing survivability for more damage. No, this is just straight up nearly the same skill tree, but look at the damage difference. Okay, so 5.4 DPS with Vaal Skellies and 1.26. Okay. Summon Raging Spirit. So they on right here we have, so the link for this is summon in the POB. I could actually keep pulling up the POB, I guess. But yeah, in the POB, so in this one at level 10, you would use Summon Raging Spirit, Infernal Legion, and minion damage. So Infernal Legion level 2 to get level 10, and then level 2 minion damage for level 10. You have a level 3 Raging Spirit. And you could actually do this sooner than level 10. It's slightly better than the Skellies. It's funny in that way. And Infernal Legion, we find out, is insane. So you scroll up. Oh, wait, sorry. You go back to this. So you look, because I have tons of shit turned on of the endgame DPS now, so you can't actually look at the POB for damage anymore. This was just fresh POB pictures. That's why I did this separately. So what we see, that's the links though. So it's Infernal Legion, minion damage, and Summon Raging Spirit, and then it gets us 34.7 DPS with a 2.1 cast rate. Oh yeah, this wasn't even using the right one anyways. Like look, and even this is off because it's not using, it has like curses and auras on right now. Skitterbots affects it for some reason, so let's just go back to our end game and leave it there. Okay, so yeah, 34.7 DPS with a 2.1 cast rate, so you can get 2.1 Summon Raging Spirits per second. So I was saying that you could get 72.87 DPS, which is insane. And then There's still, if you look over here, attack, default attack, 4.9. So you could get another 4.9 default attack, which, if you think of the 2.1, you can get an extra 10.29 DPS, and this is only like 2.1 of them. It's only 1 second. You can have 20 of them. Okay. So, just to throw it out there, so even if you ignore the default attack, just the Infernal Legion, 72.87, it's AoE. What? Okay. Yep. Okay. It is what it is, man. So now, 18 to 38. This is assuming level 18 stuff. So level 18 gems with level 20, with 25 point skill tree. So at 18 to 38 with Vaal Summon Skeletons, 3.5 is our DPS on the Summon Skeleton over here. This is real. 2 times, because you get 2 skellies every cast, 2.1 per second, 14.7 DPS. And also, so 20 Vaal Skellies is 2.6 DPS, and you have 20, so 52. And this was the increased life, so just to show on the other ones, the increased life was the same on the first 2, and now on these 2, increased life and regen are the same as well. So now it's just DPS comparison, so 18 to 38, I'll show you the links in the POB before I show it for this one. Oh, for the other one, I added melee physical. For this one, we changed minion damage to minion life, and we added concentrated effect. And then we have Summon Raging Spirit at level 5, and we have Infernal Legion level 4. So I literally planned out everything for you. 18 to 38 is 224 DPS from the Infernal, from the minion instability, because this is when we get that keystone on our skill tree that makes it so our minions explode when they get to a certain HP threshold. So at 43 or so, was it 25? 25. You already have minion stability so early, you path to it right away, and you have minion instability, and then this makes it so your minion explodes for 33% of its life. So if you can see here, 239 life, 33% of that, and then it gets scaled by all of the damage and all the fire and the supports that it has. It's pretty cool. And so that's a lot of damage every time one of your Raging Spirits dies. So every time you cast one, which is why I included this in the DPS, because every single one of them should go to an enemy and die and pop and do damage if they're going to be doing Infernal Legion. We're assuming best case scenario. So then dot 100 damage from the Infernal Legion. It's already shitting on the Skellies. That's by itself. So you could like skitterbots Infernal Legion and be better than our skeletons. So it's 324, and then there's 2.1 cast speed, so you get 681 DPS and another 22 in default attack total DPS from our 10.8 with 2.1 cast per second, and the life regen was the same. Now we're assuming level 38, so the difference here is gigantic. The skeletons got like impale, they get brutality, they get it's a 6-link, it's a 6-link Skelly, and so now they're dealing big DPS. So we went from the 681 of the Summon Raging Spirit, which seemed insane, but at 38 the Vaal Summon Skeleton turns online, we get 1152 DPS, 2.2 cast rate, and this isn't even assuming frenzy charges, power charges, and all the other weird shit that we did before. This is getting impale and like brutality and yeah, all the normal stuff. Okay, so 1152 DPS with a 2.2 cast rate. Cast rate went up. We got 2 skeletons still. You get another one at 43, not at 38. You get 3 skeletons at 43, and then 5069 DPS. This is insane DPS. This was pretty good, right? 5,000. And then Vaal Summon Skeletons, you have 751 DPS right here. And you get, as you can see, 25 Vaal Summon Skeletons. So it's 18,780 total DPS from the Vaal Summon Skeletons. Dude, it's starting to make my Summon Raging Spirits look bad, dude. Look at this increased life. We went to 52, life regen 72. Nice, nice. That's looking solid at 38. Wow, Vaal 7 Skelly's real build. Look, dude, solid build. You just have to get through that beginning awful... Wow, I can't believe the Skellies are literally not an option, dude. What the fuck have I been doing? Holy shit, I never looked. I swear to God, I looked at these when they were level 20 and I didn't look at the level 1s. Oh my God, I'm so sad. Vaal Skellies are dead. Holy shit. Until a certain level. So anyways, this looks pretty good now, right? At like a higher level of Skelly, when you're level 38, they're starting to pick it up, right? They get some good gems behind them. They're melee, dude. It's the melee problem. So then we get Summon Raging Spirit, 38. So you wonder, I told you what the links were for that. Now I'll tell you what the links were for this. So this is assuming 43. This was the skill tree. It has 1 lab, so it gets Mindless Aggression. And this is the skill tree I used in the calculation for the damage. And then the 6th link for 38 plus. This is assuming flammability because you have the curse at 24. You get Purity of Elements at 24. You get Desecrate 16. Skitterbots at 16. It has some Skitterbot damage, but it's not including the shock damage. And then unless it's automatically included in POB now. And this is my 38 with the exact levels too. So you have a Summon Raging Spirit level 10, Minion Life 7, Concentrate Effect 7, Infernal Legion 9. So we actually ended up putting the minion damage back in. So you could keep leveling this on the side because we did use this originally, but we took it out. So I guess you could use this if you had a bigger link, and they're all blue too. And then we added Spell Echo, which is a new one we got at 38. Special. And you might wonder, how good is Spell Echo? Well, it literally says 10% less damage to have 51% more cast speed. So it's like, for this, because we can't cast it fast enough, having 51% more cast speed makes it so it's almost like 51% more damage with 10% less. And so it's really nice. I do like this. As soon as you can get it at 38, this is a really big thing. So this 6th link, and now we'll go back. So we had, I'll remind you, we had 5,000 total DPS with the base Skellies, and now we're comparing it to, so the Infernal Legion did 1,032, and because of Spell Echo, the cast rate is 3.32. We have way more now. So 3.32 Raging Spirits per second instead of 2.2. That's a lot, dude. It's literally 50% more than the Skellies. Okay. And so now we're pulling out 3,426 of Infernal Legion damage. 10, and then the minion instability, each one is doing 3,212 damage, and there's 3.32 a second, so we get 10,665 damage of the minion instability, not counting the default attack of 482. So this is the AoE DPS. We include minion instability and Infernal Legion, 14,000. You compare this to the Vaal Skellies, the base 5,000. This is not including Vaal. So I'll throw it out now. Imagine you ran them both in this build. And now you have to sit here and wait for me to explain it. So give me a second. So more damage from Summon Raging Spirits without the Vaal Skellies. PogChamp, look at the life, look at the regen. The regen is less because of 1 skill point. If I had 44 points, I think I'd have the regen or something. There's something off in my skill tree, but the regen's fine, and we'll use a potion anyways for life. So now I went the big jump. So this was from 43 points for these two. We went to 70 points. I wanted to compare the 70 point. This is the last comparison for the build because it doesn't matter after this. This is like, up to this point, you're good, dude. You're so good. The up to this point is what we hadn't figured out before. I figured out after this, and all the stuff we've put out for the last, like, year or whatever has been post-leveling. Now we just put in a ton of work into leveling. So here we go. What we see here is 70 point with plus Cruel Lab. So you get your +2 Necromancer point skill tree thing. Let me show you what I'm talking about. On the Ascendancy, you have Unnatural Strength. We got that because of the Cruel Lab. I can actually show you the 70 point. So it's this one, skip 2, Unnatural Strength, and this is the skill tree. It's pretty crazy for this one specifically. So we fill out all this. We don't get Death Attunement. We get Elemental Equilibrium. We have Grave Pact. We grab specifically Righteous Army and not Redemption. We have Sacrifice. I'm not worried about them surviving because they're taking 40% of their life per second or whatever. They should die. Infernal Legion should be good. They're missing reses. They're missing chaos. They have no armor, no leech. They shouldn't recover, and I don't care about Death Attunement. I just liked that because I was already pathing here, this was like 1 point for tons of damage each time. It's kind of like taking the life here even though we don't need it. This was the skill tree for this one. I'm not showing you the other one. But either way, 3,005, this was my old one, so 3,531 with 3 skellies. Now you get 3 skellies because it's over level 43 requirement, and then 2.2 casts a second. So we get 23,309 damage at 70 points. The Vaal version is 2880 times 28 Vaal Summon Skeletons. I know it's not exactly like this. This whole time I've been just assuming that it's a base skeleton, but there's like archers and the big guys and tanks and whatever, but we're just assuming if it was the way we calculated it over the same, like we've calculated the same way in all the videos I presented, so I should just keep treating it the same, unless I know how to calculate 28 different ones. So 80,000 for the Vaal Skelly. It seems insane. 84% increased life, and the life regen's 121. It's pretty nice now. Pretty nice. The next one to compare the life straight away. More life, more regen. Okay. And now we compare the damage. The minion instability is 8,500. The Infernal Legion is 1404. And we get 3.32 because of the Spell Echo. So 4,661 from the Infernal Legion, 28,455 from the minion instability. This means 33,000 total AoE DPS. So if you compare it, we get more, like literally almost 50% more from the Summon Raging Spirits. But then there's the Vaal Summon Skeletons. So as you can see, even in the endgame where the Skellies were popping off before and I said they wasn't worth going SRS because you get so many skellies per cast, and I was always thinking about level 20 skelly base and not thinking about the leveling. Summon Raging Spirit still pulling out pretty good stuff when you build them this way, and the playstyle is pretty cool. So we would then lead to my results. So my results indicate that I should league start Summon Raging Spirit. They're better at every single point, up to 70 points in my skill tree, and even at 70 points, they're better. And now, I throw out the side thing. Like I said, you could even replace the Summon Raging Spirit in the League Starter with Vaal Summon Skeletons, and it just works. It might even be better. Depends what you prefer. And then I show, so now imagine a Vaal army, a Vaal Skelly army. 40 Vaal Skeletons, all Infernal Legion, all popping. Your SRS build could support, my SRS build could support running skeletons too. The best of both worlds. So you may ask, what the hell, what are you going on about, dude? Let me show you. So what I did is, at the end, I made these endgame links, and so I planned out what actually fills up your stuff. So you could still, like, with this build, because you're not running any of the other minions, the zombies, the specters, or any of that, golems, none of it. It's so simple. This is it. Easy. I was like, I have tons of room. So much room for gems. You ready? Cast when damage taken, immortal called Desecrate Bone Offering. So you're Mistress of Sacrifice in the final stage. With the Uber Labs, you get Mistress. So then you can do this Bone Offering. It doesn't have to be on the cast when damage taken. We could just cast Bone Offering. But if you actually notice in the end game, we get 44 block chance and 42 spell block because we're using Glancing Blows. And if you just added... Rumi's Concoction. Man, that starts to look really broken. Okay, so the point there is I've set the build up to be a Glancing Blows, Block, Bone Offering, Mistress of Sacrifice if we're going to be going Necro, because we're just abusing the league start, and this would be the most disgusting start I could possibly think of. Then I went, okay, so that's cool, right? Immortal Call is great because we have bad physical damage reduction, and then less LE damage taken when we have reses, 75 cap, and not using purities. It's pretty good. We use Purity of Elements in the build specifically, and Skitterbots as our auras. I can't think of another aura. If you guys can and improve the build with, because we actually have 30%. You can't see it because I have 2 versions of the Skitterbots and the Purity of Elements, so it's 140. Instead of 70, so we actually have 30% unreserved mana, and so there's 30% of unreserved mana for either spamming abilities and using a mana pod, which will feel way better, or you use an enduring mana flask and you get another aura, which I don't know what to run. There's another aura, it was a Malevolence, it actually helps, but it didn't add that much damage, and it was a 50% mana reserve aura, and I didn't like it, so it was like the same damage as going Skitterbots. Okay, so then I found I did Stormbrand, Curse on Hit, Flammability, and I put this in the build at like 38 because you get Curse on Hit at 38. So remember how I did Flammability 24 to 38? Well, at 38 you swap it into this and it becomes Stormbrand, Curse on Hit, Flammability, so you can then proc. This is the same point at which you're getting like the elemental equilibrium, so the Stormbrand is making them weak to fire and cold, but making them strong against lightning, and it doesn't, like, you're buffing and weakening the enemy so that your minions do more damage just by casting a Stormbrand, and then you're also cursing them with vulnerability, so this is like a double whammy, you know, with one cast. It's pretty cool, especially for bossing. So then I included that in the end with the Skitterbots, and we had the Purity of Elements, Flame Dash, Desecrate. So you still have an extra gem there. You could still use Unset Rings, and so this was our 6th link for our Summon Raging Spirit, and it's right here. Infernal Legion, minion damage, minion life, concentrate effects, spell echo. There might be some improvement. This is just what I put together. Infernal Legion is 18k DPS, and the minion instability is 71,000 with 14k life. Kind of disgusting with the really fast cast rate, 3.84. So then I throw out at the end that you guys could do skeletons. So I put together the skeleton link, the same thing. And it's pretty funny because the Infernal Legion's the same damage, and you can summon more of them, but they have less life. Oh no, they're gonna do less damage then, right? Well, technically, but you can summon them just as fast because you have Spell Echo, and you're summoning multiple at a time because, well, you're using skeletons, so you can summon 4 at a time with a maximum of 7. And so then 4 at a time, this is 100. This is like the ultimate finishing point, you know? This is like, we reached the peak. It's like, oh my god, it can't get any better than this. What the fuck are you doing? We see that it's 41,500 damage, and there's 4 of them on cast, and you can get 3 what? 166,000 damage compared to using Summon Raging Spirit, which was 71,000. So the cast speed doesn't even matter when you just get 4 of them. So then the limit matters, and maybe the limit of the skeletons might affect it to where it's not good, but I have a feeling that this is going to feel good. So my idea now is to run both of them. You guys can do whatever you want. It seems like they're both really good, and they're probably now, you just think about it logically, from level 10 onward, probably the skeleton, especially if you have the Vaal summon skeleton, is a big improvement on the Summon Raging Spirit for the exact same build. And so I just threw this out here, that this is my thing I've put together. It's really cool. I like it. I hope you guys have liked it too. This is really sick. I can't believe this is possible, and this is really cool. And I think this is a huge improvement from our old League starter. And our old League starter was honestly not even that bad. It's funny that I can talk shit about it now, because it's like, look at what I'm putting out. But, dude, I'm telling you, that wasn't even that bad. And then this must be broken then. This build guide, this League starter, this is it, dude. We broke the game. Well, either way. Like I said, all the stuff's going to be in the description below. I never said that, but all the stuff's going to be in the description below. So you can get the path of building for this League starter with all the points and the path thing in the description. You have the video. I'll leave timestamps to everything. I'll do a quick explanation. So I went through all the skills and explained everything. Talked about all the explanations of how it compares and how you would use it. I honestly kind of should include the skeletons at every point, like the exact same. So you know how, I'll actually show you, fuck it. It won't be the same, but won't be the same. But what you could do is Vaal summon skeletons, change this to 1, and technically, it's not going to work very well, but okay. So I could change this to the regular skeleton, minion instability is what I wanted to see. How many you can spawn is just 2 until like 43 requirements, so super late game. So it's just comparing the early. I just want to see it with this. It's so wrong, not the way to do it, but because the other one's at least correct, it would be assuming the end game. So comparing this was 642. It's not the best way, but like the way I did it before, 165. Yeah. What? Oh, that's Infernal Legion. 1,000. That's more like it. So 645, but there's 2 of them, so it's 1,290, and then you have a cap of 5. And you could increase it with 1 here, and technically if you took the Point of Death attunement, then you get 1 more skeleton if you use the skeleton version. If you do the skeleton version, getting another cap on an extra maximum skeleton's actually pretty good. Dude, imagine getting like items actually for skeletons now, and there's like, isn't there like a red covenant, like actual uniques you can get? Like, what's a red mark of the red covenant? Isn't that a thing? 75% reduced maximum number of summon raging spirits. Summon raging spirits hit always ignites. Melee strikes deal fire damage only. Splash damage to surrounding targets. Summoning spirits deal 150% increased damage, have increased move speed, and yes, okay, that's not what I thought it was. Never mind. That was pretty cool though. So either way, hope you guys enjoyed. This was going through everything. Oh, one more thing, forgot. I wanted to go through this when I went through more detail. So I put together these notes right here because I put gear in the build, but it doesn't actually have all the required stats because I feel like it's a huge debate for especially new players, because when you put items in the build, they'll think they need exactly that item and they won't go for anything but that item. So it tilts the shit out of me because I know exactly how new players think. So what I did here instead is notes, stats. I want to cover the stats you're looking for and why you're looking for them and how they work, okay? So like, you have gear in the game, and every gear basically wants life on it. You want life. Life is great. Capping your resistances to 75 is your priority. These are your elemental resistances. When you're done leveling and shit, these should be 75. You want these to be 75. For chaos res, 20% is okay. Like, you know how it's negative 40 right now in the build because I have no items that are good, like have any reses, no chaos res. You want this to be not negative. You want it to be positive 20. And I wrote here 40s preferred, 75 is the big smiley face, And then for your gear, for a base, you want armor gear. So like I showed here, Eternal Burgonet, it gives you 448 armor. Astral Plate, 853 armor. Like that, 290 armor for Titan Gauntlet. Instead of Energy Shield or ES. Energy Shield or Evasion, sorry. But if you go for the hybrids, where they give you armor or Energy Shield or armor or Evasion, that's fine. But you really want armor, because it'll make you feel great. Movement Speed Boots. I put them in the build. I had 30%, but you don't need that. You could do 25 eventually. So the other stats you might need is some strength maybe, because the strength is like close. It's 244. It's really high. At least strength gives you life. If you didn't know, some dexterity, because we're kind of missing it. So then you don't have to worry about it later too if you want to run other gems. And super simple, amazing league starter. This is the rest of the shit you don't have to worry about. These are the calculations if you want to mess with it. Like I said, you could choose your actual skill, choose the link, so you could choose the link, then choose the skill, and then you can actually show minion stats, and you can see their stats, see their damage, choose the ability that they use. So the minion skill, Instability. You could see the resistances of your minions. We don't want them to be capped, so maybe we would do things like not run Commander of Darkness. I don't know. It's interesting nonetheless what we do here. You could run Bone Barrier instead, so you have to get more res, but at least you have more physical damage reduction, and you don't have to worry about Commander of Darkness capping the reses of your minions, ruining the effect of your build. Possibly a different alternative, like maybe you go Mistress of Sacrifice third instead of going Commander of Darkness, and your Uber Lab is Commander of Darkness, to where it doesn't even matter because we will respec probably before that anyways. At like level 90, why would you even go for the Last Ascendancy? Who cares? Just respect golems at that point. When you're level 90 and you're done your league start, I'm pretty sure we're good to go. Either way, this is my league start up to date for 3.11. I hope you guys did enjoy this. Shit was really cool, a lot of fun to put together. Thank you guys for hanging out. If you made it to this point, I'm sure you enjoyed the presentation. I hope you guys like what I put out, and this shit blows what I had out of the water, so I hope people enjoy this kind of stuff, and look forward to the new season as much as I do. And obviously I'll update to combat whatever they do in the new season, and I'm fully aware that they could not be done with development, and therefore they could completely change based on the stuff I put out, but I honestly don't think they do that, and that would be scummy, Keppa. So either way, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to take this opportunity to thank my Patreon and my YouTube members who financially support the channel. Thank you guys for all the support. I can't do this without you guys. And thank you to anyone new who joins the Patreon or the YouTube members today. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!